Okay, we should be live. Just a quick one, really, man. Got some good boxing this weekend. A couple of interesting fights, at least. So I thought we'd talk about it. Just a quick one, man. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too strenuous on this fine Saturday afternoon. It's actually really nice out here in the UK. Just come back in, had a nice little stroll. Some fitties are knocking around. You know, we're getting to the summer. We're nearly there. What's not to like, man? What's not to like? But yeah, obviously the big fight this weekend is Andrade and Liam Williams. Looking forward to that. You got Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Ben Askren turning up at the weigh-in looking like fucking Homer Simpson. State of that guy, man. I'll actually watch that fight, you know. I'll watch it the next day. I'll give it a watch. And you got Regis Prograis on that card as well, that Jake Paul card. Prograis versus Redcatch. I can't see Ivan Redcatch lasting too long in that fight. I think Prograis is going to make a statement. I still think Prograis is the second best fighter in that division after Josh Taylor. I really do. I think Prograis would beat Jose Ramirez head to head. Just my opinion. That's not to say Ramirez is easy for Josh Taylor stylistically, because he's not. It's a very hard fight. But I just think Prograis is a bit better than Ramirez. But I'm looking forward to seeing Prograis back in the ring. One of my favourite fighters to watch stylistically. He's got a great style, man. Great punch power, nice hand speed, good head movement. He can be aggressive. He can box. He can counter. Oh, yeah, Steve Cunningham. Yeah, Steve Cunningham versus Frank Mir. Yeah, that's crazy. Bump of K. That's crazy. Steve Cunningham's going to fuck him up, though, let's be honest. Steve Cunningham's going to fuck him. Adair Pennant, I would like to see Luis Ortiz versus Kubrat Pulev on the undercard of Joshua and Fury. I mean, if that fight happened, I wouldn't moan, to be honest. I wouldn't be upset with it. I think Luis Ortiz beats Pulev at this stage, if I'm being honest. But I'd watch it. I still wouldn't mind seeing Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz, actually. I think that's quite a good fight. Yes, big up to Jamstar. Hopefully you're well, bro. I think Prograis would beat Taylor in a rematch. Listen, I think that's one of those fights where you could match those guys 10 times and there'll be like 5 wins apiece. I think those guys are so evenly matched, to be honest. That first fight was super close. I felt Taylor nicked it by a round, but nobody can say that win was conclusive, put it that way. I saw a lot of people have that fight a draw. A lot of people had Prograis winning by a round. That was one of those fights that could have genuinely gone either way and you wouldn't really moan. Brilliant fight though, man. Prograis is a fucking gangster, man. Yes, big up Pigeon, man. I was looking at your live a little while ago. Big up Pigeon. Man's out there in Birmingham in the hotel, man. Just got his end away, so big up to Pigeon. He's had a good weekend so far. You got to respect that. That's my aim. When I'm Pigeon's age, I still want to be getting some, man. Big up to Mad Chad Boxing and Sports. Big up to Mad Chad. Salute to you, sir. Coming out of Maine. Big up to Mad Chad. Ajit Caball versus Frank Sanchez will be a great fight. I'd watch it, bro. I'd watch it. Both guys are unbeaten, kind of like prospects, good boxers. I'd watch it. I think Frank Sanchez beats him, though. That old-ass looking Cuban, I think he beats him. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Doc. Yeah, 140's thick with talent at the moment. I'm not certain that the Taylor's Ramirez winner beats Prograis, Zepeda, or Baranchik, and Postal are still useful. Yeah, it's a great division, Mr. Doc. And on that PBC schedule, on the undercard of Nordine Ubali, versus Nonito Donaire. Watch out for Subriel Matias versus Drinkumbayev. That's going to be a fucking war. That fight's got brain damage written all over it. And those guys are contenders as well. Matias, he's a real bad man. Like, he's a fucking soldier. I'm not going to lie, Pigeon. I'm not going to lie. I'm not as against these sort of freak show fights as a lot of people are. It'll be entertaining, like you said. It'll be entertaining. Who have you guys got in that fight, by the way? Jake Paul or Ben Askren? I think Jake Paul's naturally a better striker. He's a better boxer. But if he can't get Jake Paul out of there if Jake Paul can't get Askren out of there in the first couple of rounds, maybe Askren can like grind him down on the inside and really kind of make it ugly. It's an interesting fight. I've only just started AJ Morningstar. I've just started. We'll be going I guess I'll be live for about an hour, and obviously tonight we'll watch Taylor. Not Taylor. What am I talking about? We'll watch Williams Andrade. I was thinking about doing the live commentary. I might do it. I might not. We'll see. We'll see. Fuck's sake, my light is broken. Yeah, Michael Polite Coffee versus Carlos Takam. That's a good fight at heavyweight. Adair Penance. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Coffee versus Jared Anderson, 2 unbeaten prospects. That'd be a good fight. Laugh out loud. Chris Hayes, man. Poor Prince Philip. He was taken too soon. Such a tragedy at a young age. Oh, thank you, Mad Chad, man. Thank you. I try and cover all things in boxing. I do my best. I don't know everything. I get a lot wrong, so. Bump of K. He says Jake Paul's going to fuck him up badly. He could do if he walks him onto one of those shots. He's got a nice right hand, Jake Paul. He carries some power. There is better quality of heavyweights now than the Klitschko era. I'm not entirely convinced by that, to be honest. I think the level of competition is somewhat similar. It's more interesting now. It's more entertaining, but I'm really not sure that the quality is better these days, to be honest. I mean, look at the Dillian White scenario, for example. Like, Povetkin was way past his best, and he still managed to knock out Dillian White. He's a relic from the Klitschko era, and he was past his best when he fought Dillian White, and he still managed to knock him out once. So I'm not entirely convinced by that. I think the level of competition is similar. No, I'll take Mike Tyson to beat Tommy Morrison. Tommy could punch. He's got a great left hook. He's got power, but he's not durable enough to fight Mike Tyson and beat him. Mike's got a better chin. He's a better boxer. He's got better defense. He's better combination puncher. I think he'd beat Mike Tyson would beat Tommy Morrison. Vitali versus Mike Tyson. Do you know what? I'll take Mike Tyson. No, I'll take Vitali on points in a hard fight. I think Mike Tyson beats Vladimir. I think Vitali's a much harder style matchup. Big, tall, lanky dude. Threw a lot of punches. He kind of leant back, which made it hard for small fighters to connect on the chin. I think he might beat Mike Tyson on points, stylistically. I think Mike beats Vladimir, but I don't think he beats Vitali. I know Vitali's not got the resume, but I'm talking like pure head-to-head. If that fight were to happen, I'll take Vitali, prime for prime. Fuck Jake Paul. Yeah, the guy's a clown. I took Dwight's advice and backed Jake Paul. I got 4-5. Yeah, exactly, Pigeon. Yeah, Vladimir's career is underrated. He was like 41, 42 when AJ beat him. Yeah, exactly, bro. Vladimir had a good run. He wasn't always the most fucking exciting, but the guy fought basically everyone he needed to. The referee is going to be a major factor in the Askren versus Paul fight. If Askren's allowed to roughhouse on the inside, Paul could be in for a long night. If he's quick to break them, probably a long night for Askren. Yeah, I'd say that. Apparently, according to the MMA fans, Askren's got a real good chin. I know he got knocked out by fucking Masvidal, but that was a flying knee. Anybody would get knocked out by that. But in terms of like punch resistance, apparently Askren's got a good chin. Yeah, Askren's for big money, bro. Yeah, agreed. Jake looks ripped. Askren looks fat and terrible. Yeah. Yeah, Askren doesn't look like an athlete, does he? Vitali beats Tyson round 11 TKO. I wouldn't be shocked at a late stoppage when Mike Tyson's kind of like chasing the fight, when he's starting to tire, bigger, longer, taller man, sort of throwing punches, kind of grinding him down. I could see that. I agree, I totally agree, Mr. Doc. Tyson does to Morrison what Mercer did to him, but far worse. I agree. Yeah, that fight was a disgrace. Adir Penance. That was an absolute disgrace. He should have been DQ'd in that fight, if we're being honest. He should have been DQ'd. That was an absolute disgrace. Some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. Askren's getting knocked out. I hope I'm wrong. I think he'll get beat. I think he'll get beat. Whether he gets knocked out or not, I don't know. Like I say, the MMA guys say the guy's got a real good chin, so we'll see. He took some hard shots from Robbie Lawler, for example, and that guy could fucking punch. So we'll see, man. We'll see. If Tommy Morrison can take George Foreman's power, why not Mike Tyson? The thing is, though, that was an old George Foreman, but he was a lot more slow then. He wasn't throwing the same sort of he wasn't throwing with the same sort of volume. He wasn't fighting with the same sort of aggression. That was a much different George Foreman, where he could be kind of outworked and whatnot. Mike Tyson's going to be on him like white on rice, and I think he'll take him out early. I really do. Only fighter in my eyes beating a savage prime Iron Mike Tyson is Cassius Clay. That'd have been a great fight. I would have taken Muhammad Ali on a late stoppage in that fight. But Muhammad Ali, after when he came back, I think Mike Tyson could beat that version of Ali. Ali before the draft, before he got basically banned from boxing, that Ali, I think he beats Tyson. But Ali after the draft, I think Tyson beats him. Who can beat Ike Ibushi? Now, this is a good one. Ike Ibushi is like fucking the biggest what if in the heavyweight division, because he beat Chris Bird easily. He beat David Tua in a war. Ike Ibushi had a great chin, great punch output, real power, physically strong, good fundamentals. He was a real good fighter. He was almost like a bit. If you look at Ike Ibushi fight, he's almost like Evander Holyfield. Kind of thing, like a more aggressive Evander Holyfield, like more explosive. I think, listen, if Ike Ibushi continued his career in the late 90s, I think he would have beaten that version of Mike Tyson. I think he would have beaten that version of Evander Holyfield. The problem he would have is Lennox Lewis. Basically, I think if Ike Ibushi was allowed to continue his career, or it continued, I think he would have beaten everybody in the late 90s apart from Lennox Lewis. I think he would have been a champion. Bump of K says Ike would be undisputed today. I'm not sure. I think he'll definitely be a contender. Yeah, 85 to 90 wasn't great. The early 2000s as well was pretty poor as well. When like Tyson was on the way out, when Evander was on the way out, that was kind of poor. You had the likes of John Ruiz hold titles. That was a bad era, the early 2000s. Yeah, Ali would have got in Tyson's head. You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, exactly, Jamstar. Yeah, Ike would have been hard to beat. Great chin, good punching power, and a great gas tank. Yeah, he was very good. I mean, the fact that... So he and David Tua set the CompuBox record in heavyweight boxing for a long time. I think it was only Ariola versus Kaunaki that beat it recently. And the fact that he took so many flush left hooks from David Tua, that goes to show what type of chin Ike Ibushi had. His chin was ridiculous, because most guys are not going to stand up to fucking David Tua left hooks, consecutively. He took some mad shots in that fight. And I think that fight sent him over the edge. I really do. Like, he was a crazy guy anyway. I think that fucking David Tua fight sent that guy to proper crazy town. That fight would have given him major CTE. I really do believe that. I think that fight tipped him over the edge. Yali was a savage, man. He could put it on you. He wasn't just a dancer. He could really put it on you when he had to. Fucking Vladimir was laying on his back, holding, mauling. It was a bad fucking. It was a bad look, man. I think Vitali's a bad style matchup, Max. I really do. I think Vladimir, like I say, I think Vladimir would struggle with Tyson, especially if he's not allowed to hold. But Vitali could take a step back. He could throw punches at angles. He would lean back, make himself a hard target. He had great punch output, a good chin, decent power. I think he would have ground down Tyson to a points win, or like Pigeon said, a late stoppage. I just think stylistically, Vitali's a hard one. Yeah, Dmitry Pirog, that's a great shout, Pigeon. He was supposed to fight Golovkin, in 2012, I think it was. But obviously that fight got signed, and then fucking Dmitry Pirog pulled his back out, and he never returned. That would have been a great fight. Dmitry Pirog, man, was a fucking interesting fighter. Great athlete, great head movement, good power, good timing. That guy had a real interesting style. There's a lot of guys like that, though, like what ifs. Like, what if Salvador Sanchez didn't die so early? I mean, his resume for a 23-year-old was insane. Edwin Valero, another guy who went out way too soon. There's loads of these sort of guys out there. Dmitry Pirog, Aiki Ibushi, these big what-if scenarios in boxing. I think that's a good video topic, actually, like the biggest what-ifs in boxing. So you could cover someone like Aiki Ibushi, Edwin Valero, Salvador Sanchez, all of these guys, man. Pirog. Do you think Andy Ruiz's latest videos of his weight loss is genuine? And if they are, do you think he's the real boogeyman? I wouldn't say he's a boogeyman, but it's looking like it's genuine. It's looking like it's genuine. He's training regularly in a great gym with great professionals. And he definitely looks a lot more healthy. I'll say that much. But it's hard to say until we see this guy on the scales. Then we can really see how much work this guy's put in. But it's good to see Andy actually take it seriously. David Tua, Vitaly Klitschko, Sonny Liston, Holyfield, Lewis would beat prime Mike Tyson. Interesting. David Tua would be very interesting, actually. Mike's got a better work rate. He's a better natural boxer, better defense. I think he'd beat David Tua on points. I think Vitaly Klitschko beats Tyson. I think Tyson beats Sonny Liston. I think Evander Holyfield would always beat Tyson. And I think Lennox would always beat Tyson. Yeah, Ike must have been on Peds. Yeah, he was something crazy, bro. He was something crazy. Yeah, I think so as well, Max. It's not just he's too big and too strong. It's like the style of him as well. The leaning back style, the punch output, the angles, the chin. I think he's a real hard style for Mike Tyson. Again, Mike Tyson goes down as greater due to what he did. But in terms of a head-to-head scenario, I'm taking Vitaly. 100%, bro. David Benavidez, man. Benavidez is psycho bred, man. I like Benavidez. I like his style. I like what he brings to the ring. He throws a lot of punches. He hits hard, the hand speed, and he seems to want to fight everybody. That's all I can really ask for at the end of the day. But I like Benavidez a lot. I like his style. Look at the state of this guy, man. He looks like he's like a cartel fucking enforcer. I like him, man. But yeah, he needs to stay off the devil's dandruff. There's no doubt about it. The old Colombian marching powder needs to stay clean. Yeah, I see that, Pigeon. I see that. Amir Khan ducked Conor Benn today and lied, said he was a world champion at Conor's age. Total lies. Amir Khan's going to be Amir Khan, man. He's just, the guy's a clown. He had a good career, Amir Khan, but recently, the last sort of 5-6 years, he's been a joke. Basically, it went all downhill. With Amir Khan, it went all downhill after the Danny Garcia defeat. He was never the same fighter, in my opinion. That's a good point. Ike's main problem was his career was always going to be short, couldn't resist tear-ups, 100%, Mr. Doc, 100%. And again, I truly believe that fight with David Tua done a lot of damage to his brain. I really do. I think that fight sent him over the edge. Yeah, type in Vlad versus Povetkin Fowles. It's about 20 minutes long. It's insane. It's insane. He would have definitely had a better chance, put it that way. I'm not sure that he wins, but he would have definitely had a better chance. Yeah, he was throwing him around like a cheap hooker, man. That's crazy. Oh, now this is a fucking great fight. Can you imagine this fight? Riddick Bowe, Ike Ibushi. What a fantasy fight. I've never even said it. I've not heard anybody mention that. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. I'm going to say it, I think Ike Ibushi beats him in the inside war. I think Ike is too busy, too strong, hits too hard. I think he would beat Riddick Bowe. I really do. I think he'd beat Riddick Bowe. Would have been a great fucking fight, though. And that is a great shout. That's a fucking great shout. What do you think about the Lopez Camposo's press conference, Bad Blood? Yeah, I saw that, actually. I don't usually watch press conferences, but I thought, fuck it, why not? I was cooking my dinner, so I thought, why not watch it? Yeah, man. I mean, both guys seemed confident. Camposo's, he's talking that talk, but ultimately, what he does at the press conference isn't going to matter. He's going to get knocked smooth out when they fight. Tio's too good, too fast, too powerful. He'll time Camposos. Camposos doesn't really have great defense. He's there to be hit. I think Camposos gets leveled, to be honest. I think he gets leveled. I don't rate Camposos all that highly. I don't think he's a genuine top 10 lightweight. The last guy to beat Calzaghe went a bit wild on the booze and now drives a bus for a living. Just shows you, yeah. The last guy to beat Calzaghe in the amateurs, yeah. I've heard of that story, but I forgot the guy's name. Yeah, that's a good shout, Adair Pennant, yeah. They should make a documentary on Ike Ibushi, yeah. I'd watch it. See, I want a documentary on Edwin Valero and Ike Ibushi. That's what I want, because Edwin Valero was a fucking crazy fucking savage, like out of Venezuela. And obviously his life ended the way it did, in tragic circumstances, where he killed his wife as well. And yeah, it's messed up, but that would be a good documentary. Again, a lot of people think the way he ended up was due to CTE. Obviously boxing for a start, but Edwin Valero had a motorcycle crash. And apparently that's what they theorized, what caused Valero to be so volatile. Tyson smokes Tua. I think Tyson beats him as well. Mike Tyson was the scariest fighter I've ever witnessed in my life. His peak was short-lived, but at his peak, he puts all heavyweights of he beats all heavyweights of all time. I'm not sure, man. I think he'd be competitive with everybody, Mike Tyson, in his prime, but I think there are certain guys who would have had his number. Like I think Evander Holyfield, for example. I think Evander would always have his number. That was a guy he couldn't bully, he couldn't intimidate, he couldn't wave Evander Holyfield from his game plan, no matter what he did. Evander Holyfield, to me, it's hard to say he's underrated, but look at what that guy did, man. His career was outstanding. Evander Holyfield gave away weight to all of his opponents, pretty much. And look at the career he had. Great cruiserweight as well, let's not forget. Evander Holyfield was a genuine warrior. That guy was tough as old boots, as we say over here. Tough as old boots. And I've got a lot more time. Listen, I much prefer Evander Holyfield to Tyson and Lewis from that generation. I prefer Evander Holyfield. So yeah, Mr. Doc says if it's both from the Holyfield fights, I've got Bowe all day, but Ike could beat him from the Gallotta fights. Yeah, I think Ike beats him full stop. Yeah, I think he'd knock out Sonny Liston, AJ Morningstar. I think he'll get underneath that real hard jab, and I think he'll work him. I think Mike was a lot more dynamic, much better defensively. He could close the distance very effectively. You know, Sonny had a great jab, but it was kind of like the same jab over and over. I think Tyson would read that, get underneath, and he would go to work. I think he would beat Sonny Liston. I really do. I think he'd beat Sonny. But it'll be a great fight, though. He'd sleep Vladimir, Crusader Cross, in my opinion. But Vitali, I'm not so sure. Vitali had a great fucking chin. Oh yeah, that's one of those fights. That's got brain damage written all over it, Mr. Doc. Ramirez or Josh Taylor, who have you got? I'm leaning towards Josh Taylor. I think it's a much harder fight than people say, though. A lot of people in the UK are very confident Taylor wins that fight, like very confident. I'm not quite as confident, I have to say. I think Taylor's more versatile. He is the bigger guy. Southpaw, he can box, he can brawl. Josh Taylor can do a bit more than Ramirez, hence why I'm picking him. But if Taylor engages in a war, Ramirez can win that fight. He really can. He really can. Why would Amir Khan fight Benvo? He gets nothing. It's a good payday for Amir Khan. And at the end of the day, where else is Amir Khan going to go? Yeah, if he could get the Kell Brook fight, fair enough. But apart from that, what options does Amir Khan have these days? Oh yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. It's nice and sunny out here, man. It's nice and sunny out here. The girls are out. I've just been out, actually. Just came back. Some nice looking women flying about. So it's all good, man. The summer's coming, man. The summer's coming. Sun's out, tits out, and all that, you know? It's looking good. It's looking good. The Klitschko's were control freaks. They would have shat themselves in the Lion's Den versus Tyson, in my opinion. Maybe. Pigeon. Oh, Pigeon's going to go. He's going to go there. Liston only beat Floyd Patterson, a light heavyweight. He wasn't that great. His resume wasn't the greatest, Sonny Liston. It wasn't the greatest. What's his best wins? Patterson. Would you say that's his best win? Didn't he beat Cleveland Williams as well, who was a good heavyweight? I'm sure he beat Cleveland Williams. Am I going crazy? Cleveland Williams was a good fighter. I'm sure Sonny Liston fought Cleveland. Yeah, he did, yeah. So Sonny beat Cleveland Williams twice, actually. See, I forgot that. But yeah, Sonny was good, but I don't think his resume is that great, Sonny Liston. I really don't. Mike Tyson and Manny Pacquiao were my favorite fighters. These two fighters were seek and destroy, yeah. 100%, man. Some of the most entertaining fighters we've seen in the past 50 years, Manny Pacquiao and Mike Tyson. Yeah, Pigeon, I've got to agree, in a sense. Like, in a head-to-head scenario, I think a lot of guys beat Sonny Liston. I really do. Oh, it's Haydar, man. It's fucking hilarious. So listen, the Bogdan Dinu fight for Daniel Dubois is not the worst opponent coming off a loss, right? It's not the opponent. It's the fact that it's for a WBA interim title. Like, Bogdan Dinu's beat nobody in his career whatsoever. Got knocked out by Pulev, got knocked out by Jarrell Miller. Dubois has really beaten nobody as well, coming off a loss. Why is that fight for a WBA interim title? It's insane. But the fight itself as a comeback is not bad. I got Ike versus Bo. Yeah. I agree. I got Ike as well. Amir Khan versus Prince Nazim. Amir Khan's way too big, man. Yeah, DDD versus Dinu, complete jokers, yeah. Yes, 50-50, but I would edge Taylor. Yeah, I would say 60-40 to Josh Taylor. I think Josh is like, listen, Josh is putting in work, man. He's putting in work. It's rare for a UK fighter to do what he does, man. He can fight on the inside. He can brawl. He's got legit toughness. A lot of UK fighters get found wanting at the top level when it comes to those sort of attributes. And Taylor has those in abundance. He can fight on the inside. He's got a great chin. He's got a great heart. He's a special fighter, Josh Taylor. A lot of UK guys like to gas up certain UK fighters without doing anything. But Josh Taylor's one of those rare exceptions where the hype is justified, in my opinion. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Josh does look sharp. He looks good. I've seen a bit of his training footage. That would be a great fight. George Foreman, Ike Ibushi. That would be a war. Tio turned into an egomaniac since he beat Loma. I hope Camposo pulls off a miracle. Yeah, Camposo, listen, he looks in good shape. He's coming to fight. He's saying the right things, but I just think he's going to get fucking leveled. I really do. I mean, Camposo's fight against Lee Selby kind of showed us what level he is. He's like, I wouldn't say he's a top 10 contender, like genuinely. I'd say he's like somewhere in the top 20, like from around 11 to 20 in the rankings. He's not great, Camposo's. Big shock if Camposo's KOs Lopez. I can't see it, man. I don't think Camposo's hits all that hard. I really don't. What do you think about Triller disrespecting the sport by bringing artists to this with Justin Bieber and Snoop Dogg? It's stupid. Listen, man, the way I look at it is if boxing was in a great state and we was getting all the fights we wanted, we wouldn't be having these freak show type of fights. The reason why boxing's being infiltrated like this, in my opinion, is like boxing isn't being run the way it should be run. We're not getting the fights that we should get. We're not getting the product that we should get. And that leaves the door open to things like this. You know? You wouldn't get that in the UFC, for example. The UFC had these like 10, 15 years, like 12, 15 years ago. They would have these freak show fights, but they've moved past it now, for the most part. But boxing, I don't know, man. It's left the door open for this sort of nonsense. See, I wish I was growing up when Tyson was coming along, man. I wish I was growing up when Tyson was around. Just I wanna know like how it felt watching Mike Tyson back then. Imagine though, like watching Tyson get knocked out by Buster Douglas live. I can't imagine that. The closest thing I would say to me would be Joshua Ruiz won. The young Mike beat complete clowns. I watched it all live. I mean, clowns who had 4 days training camps. I don't think Tyson's resume was that bad. Like, Razor Ruddock was a good fighter. Pinkland Thomas, you know, Trevor Berbick, Tony Tubbs. All of these guys were good contenders. It just wasn't a super strong era. But he beat who he needed to beat, really, in the 80s. He beat who he needed to beat. Yeah, boxing people gave Holyfield little chance versus Iron Mike Tyson. Oh, big up to Unrivaled, man. Salute to Unrivaled. He's out there doing a week live stream, man. Guy's crazy. But salute to Unrivaled. And by the way, Unrivaled, I've never said congratulations on 4K as well. 4K subs. Big up to Unrivaled. If Tyson sparked fish eyes, wouldn't he have more than just a red eye? Laugh out loud. Maybe he gave him a pimp slap, like a backhand to the face. Maybe. I'll big up to the Fox Strikes, by the way. I've not seen you for a long while, Fox. Not seen you for a long, long while, man. So hopefully you're well. Good to see you, man. Good to see you still around, man. Ramirez's inside game is going to chop up Taylor, in my opinion. It'll be interesting if Taylor stays in the pocket. Can he handle Ramirez? We'll see. Ramirez can punch. He's got decent power. I actually think he might punch harder than Taylor, if I'm being honest. So it'll be interesting if that fight stays in the pocket. Who's going to get the better of it? I think Taylor will box and move in certain rounds. Other rounds, he'll actually fight Ramirez. I think Taylor's going to be a lot more circumspect than people think in that fight. A lot more cerebral. I've got Andrade on points. Just think he's too long, too awkward for Liam Williams. Williams has got, he's got a good power and whatnot, but he's not really proven at the elite level. He's got to close that distance effectively. I'm not sure he can, to be honest. And I'm not sure what happens if he's losing that fight and he knows it. I think he'll get frustrated. I'm not convinced by Liam Williams. I'll be honest, I'm not convinced by his heart. I think he's an on-top fighter. He's a bully boy fighter. Look at the Liam Smith fight, the first fight. Liam Williams started that fight very well. He was beating Liam Smith up, but Liam Smith started to claw his way back into that fight, working on the inside, making it hard. And Williams wanted a way out in that fight. He wanted a way out, and that fight was stopped very controversially. And Liam Williams wasn't complaining. He wasn't complaining. He wanted out in that fight. So I'm not convinced by Liam Williams' temperament. I'm not convinced by his heart. I think he's an on-top fighter. And I think you could see that against Andrade, especially if Andrade actually puts some shots together and puts it on Liam Williams. I could see a late stoppage as well, to be honest. I'm not convinced by Liam Williams. Amir Khan gave up against Crawford. Khan is done. I agree. Amir Khan always had great heart when he was fighting properly. And when he quit against Crawford, you knew he was done, because Amir Khan, at his best, say what you want, had no quit in him whatsoever. That guy would continue fighting. Even against Bradis Prescott, man, he tried to get up. He would always continue fighting. I agree, Mad Chad. Yeah, Andrade UD. Mr. Kryptonite, he's got Andrade by KO. I got my man Brian Harkin beating Cleveland Williams. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Doc. A lot of people are equating Postal's performance with how Taylor will handle Ramirez, but that's not how Taylor fights. He'll always get drawn into the trenches. Exactly, bro. There's going to be moments in that fight when Taylor gets involved in a war, and that favors Ramirez. So Taylor needs to be a lot more smart in this fight than he usually is. He needs to utilize that height and reach, the southpaw stance. He's got a nice jab when he uses it. He can box. So yeah, this is a great fight. Charlo versus Castano is a cracking fight. Castano, I believe, beats Charlo by a majority decision. It's a good fight, Mad Chad. If Castano can stay on the inside for long periods of time, he can outwork Charlo. Charlo's not the greatest inside fighter in the world, and I think he can definitely be outworked. We saw that against Tony Harrison in the rematch. So yeah, Castano in that fight needs to be all the way in and constantly as well. To win that fight. But, Jamel can punch. He's great at mid-range. He could catch Castano coming in. I think that's a very hard fight to call, I'll be honest. I lean towards Charlo being the bigger, stronger guy, the A side. But I think that's a very hard fight. I really do. I'll be shocked if anybody wins that fight conclusively. I would imagine that fight goes to points. And it'll be a close competitive fight. That's what I imagine. But listen, man, we have to give credit to Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo's not really doing anything right now. He's fighting a fucking scrub in his next fight. Jermell Charlo recently, he's been fighting all the guys: Tony Harrison, Jason Rosario, Erickson Lubin, Brian Castano. He's fought Martirosyan. You know, he's fought some real good competition, Jamel Charlo. He's fighting guys. He's fighting everybody he needs to fight. So Jamel Charlo right now is really putting in work. I think he is the right now he's the shining light over at the PBC. Jamel Charlo. I got nothing bad to say about Jamel Charlo. Nothing at all. Yeah, Gamboa's also fighting for an interim title, coming off 2 losses. Yes, insane. Jamstar, insane. Yes, big up to John Gonzalez in the chat. Salute to John. Out of Texas, man. Salute to John, man. A prime Holyfield, I think, beats Ike Ibushi. But the late 90s Holyfield, when Ike was active, I think Ike beats that version. I think Ike beats him, that version of Tyson, of Holyfield. Big up to George C. Salute to Del in the chat as always. Flex Wheeler saying he's worked out Andrade. I call bullshit. We'll see, man. We'll see. Dominic Ingle's not exactly been doing well recently, so we'll see what happens. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Andrade, I have to say. I don't really like his style. So part of me wants Liam Williams to win, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Francis Ngannou in boxing would be great for boxing. I can't see it, man. I think what's Francis Ngannou now? 35 years old? It's too late for Ngannou. If Ngannou turned to boxing a lot earlier, maybe he could have some success, but it's too late for Ngannou. My father said Tyson fights anybody with a pulse, they'll beat him. Rest in peace, father. He was right. Yeah, rest in peace, man. I got Liam Williams for the win. Andrade's first real fight. Don't be surprised. Not sure about that, man. I'm not sure. Yeah, big up to Saqib. Salute to Saqib. Yeah, Ruddock was the Dillian White of that era. A clown in my opinion anyway. He could punch. Razor Ruddock, he could punch. He had that fucking smash punch where he had ice guys. Yeah, Taylor is very good on the inside, Saint. He's very good on the inside. But defensively on the inside, he is there to be hit. Yeah, I agree. Awesome Staffordshire. I'll start again. Awesome Staffordshire Bull Terriers. Andrade's a hard man to beat, but I hope Liam can get it done. Yeah, it'll be good for the UK. It'll be good for the UK. That'll be a big away win as well for a UK fighter going to America to beat someone like Andrade. That'll be a big win. So, listen, I hope he does it. It'll be a nice change in the middleweight division. At the end of the day, the middleweight division needs that division needs a shake-up. And, Williams beating Andrade would be that sort of shake-up. And Williams said, actually, I was watching an interview, providing he beats Andrade, he wants to fight Golovkin next. So why not, man? It'd be nice to see him win. Damn, fucking hell. Pigeon's got Taylor round 5 knockout. That's early, man. That's early. I think if he knocks out Ramirez, I think it'll be late on. I think he needs to really kind of tender that steak kind of thing. Mr. Doc says, the day after Douglas Tyson, it was literally all anybody was talking about at work, school, out in the streets. You could get mugged in an alley, but your mugger would bring it up. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, Taylor's going to stop Ramirez in the 5th, my prediction, as I don't think from training videos Ramirez has power to stop Taylor plodding forwards. Interesting. If Taylor does stop him, I think it'll be to the body. Like body accumulation. I don't think anybody's getting stopped in that fight, though. I think it will go to the points. Taylor's got great defense coming forwards. That's rare. Even Ramirez keeps jabbing. Taylor practices getting through that. Yeah. He's got a decent guard, Josh Taylor. Yo, Delboy, good bet. Joe Hammers 11-2 to beat Jack Basin, who's not been tested. Jack Bateson. I heard about that guy years ago, and he's not really done anything. He was like a highly touted amateur at one point. Pigeon, Charlo Castano is another PBC shit show I won't be watching. Now, it'll be a good fight, man. It'll be a good fight. Blue collar versus his lighter. Yeah, the lighter's winning. The lighter's winning so far on points. Holyfield is far above an Ike. I never rated Ike and still don't. Yeah, Holyfield in his prime would be too much. He'll be too much. I don't think he can beat Holyfield in that sort of war. Holyfield's very hard to beat in that sort of fight. I think Holyfield would beat Ike prime for prime. But like the late 90s Holyfield was definitely past his best. I think Ike could beat that version. Oh my yeah. Do you think Dennis Hobson could be taking over UK boxing as he signed your favourite fighter, Dave Allen? Nah. It's a good publicity stunt for Dennis Hobson, I guess. It's good publicity for him, but I've got no interest in Dave Allen whatsoever. Did you see Tio's comments on him being a free agent? If he is that, what's the best fit? If Tio's a free agent, I would say DAZN, whether it's Matchroom or Golden Boy, because that's where Devin Haney is. That's where Ryan Garcia is. I'd say DAZN for Teofimo. Yeah, I think he gets stretched in Boxing Duck. I think he gets fucking leveled. Den taking over Sky. Yeah, Tio's a comedian. I liked that he beat Loma, but I don't like the dude. I can't lie. Yeah, Tio's just a bit fucking corny to me. Just like real cringy. Like all of these lightweights are fucking cringy as fuck. You got Ryan Garcia doing TikTok dances. You've got Devin Haney winning belts via email, like a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid, and you've got Teofimo thinking he's like fucking Mayweather after one real good win. All of these guys right now are acting like jokers in the lightweight division. All of these guys are. Duck's got Andrade by KO. I wouldn't be surprised, Duck. If it's a knockout, though, I think it will be late on. Like I said, I'm not convinced by Liam's heart. I'm really not. That Liam Smith fight was a big red flag to me, the first one. Did you see that press host asking Tio and George what they thought about Jake Paul and Ben Askren? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but yeah, Duck, I agree. But by law of averages, eventually we need to beat one of these Mexicans. Eventually. So it's got to change. I think Taylor's going to be the dude to change it. Oh, Evander Holyfield all day long over Tim Witherspoon. Witherspoon was a good boxer, but Holyfield. He'd outdog him. He might stop him late as well. If you could smash the like, by the way, lads, it'd be much appreciated. That always kind of always helps us out. The little fucking YouTube nerds down at Silicon Valley love it when you smash the like. They like fucking jerk off to it and whatnot. So, yeah, smash the like, be much appreciated. Yeah, big up to Ruben Guerrero as well. The rumoured purse for the Triller fight. Surprise Regis is getting the most on the card. Good for him, man. Good for him. I like Prograis, man. Good for him. I think he's going to hurt Ivan Redcatch, though. He's going to knock him out. Yeah, don't sleep on Tim Witherspoon. I thought he beat Larry Holmes and Tim had less than 20 fights at the time. Yeah, good shout. He was a very good boxer, Mr. Doc. Very good boxer. Tim Witherspoon. Very good boxer. Oh, George Foreman, Larry Holmes. Yeah, I think Larry Holmes, I'll be honest, I think Larry boxes his head off. I really do. Like in a prime for prime scenario, both guys in their primes, I think Larry would box his head off and maybe even stop him late. That's what I think. You could see you could see Larry Holmes get dropped early on, but I think he would gain his composure, box behind the jab, and basically chop down George Foreman. I think Larry Holmes beats every version of George Foreman, to be honest. Prime for prime, Larry beats George, and old Larry versus old Foreman. I think Larry wins again. I think Larry's a bad style matchup for George Foreman. Larry's jab was just far too educated, far too active, far too quick. George would need to knock him out. Like, George can't win. He can't win that fight on points. He can't match that jab. I think Dan Aziz is going to win fairly comfortably, Mr. Relax, in that fight. Yeah, nobody likes Dave Allen, man. Like on the YouTube scene, nobody likes Dave Allen. What Dave Allen is, Dave Allen is like, I'm sick of Dave Allen, man. I don't even want to talk about the guy, but he's just a fat mess, man. It's not about his lack of talent. It's not that. If you apply yourself and you get in good fights, even if you lose a lot of fights like Gabe Rosado, I'll still watch you fight. It's not about the lack of talent with Dave Allen. It's the lack of dedication. Dave Allen's been on 10 pay-per-view shows, and he's turned up in shape, once for all of those fights? And then the guy complains about not getting opportunities. The guy's an absolute disgrace. Doesn't take any responsibility for his actions, his wrongdoings. The guy's a disgrace. Dave Allen is like a microcosm of today's society. Nobody wants to take responsibility, own up for their actions. They'll blame it on something else. They'll blame it on somebody else. It's a joke. Dave Allen's a joke, man. I can't stand the guy. I really can't. Cannot stand him. Oh, yeah. Pro Grace is a fucking G, Pigeon. The guy's a G. Ray Mercer, David Tua. Yeah, that'll be a great fight. Adair Pennant. That'll be a great fight. Yeah, I can't see fucking Big George doing much with Larry Holmes. I can't see it. Chaz Witherspoon, even better. Oh, Chaz. Good old Chaz. Yeah, exactly. Dave Allen, he made David Price look like Larry Holmes. David Price was fucking pulling the shoulder roll against Dave Allen, pinging him with a jab, taking the step back, walking Dave into counter shots. He was schooling Dave Allen, man. Hilarious. That's my favorite. Again, David Price, man, his career, can we just say, for better or worse, one of the most entertaining guys in boxing. Full stop. The knockout losses, brutal. Povetkin, Erkan. The Tony Thompson fights were hilarious. Christian Hammer, underrated. Look at that fight, man. David Price was doing well, and his gas tank just went and he got knocked out. Like, his career, man's been so funny. He got knocked out. Tony Thompson knocked him out and turned fucking Frank Maloney into a tranny. He schooled Dave Allen, one of my least favorite fighters. David Price is pure entertainment. He's a national treasure, and he should be protected at all costs. He really should. He really should. Big up to David Price, man. Big up to David Price. You can't say David Price hasn't been entertaining. David Price, man, that guy. I'll be sad when that guy retires. When that guy retires, I'll do a fucking career review for David Price, like a half an hour career review. We'll be going through our favorite memories, taking a trip down memory lane. David Price, man, I got time for David Price. I know he's a bit of a, like, people laugh at him and whatnot, but in all seriousness, he's been fun to watch. He's been very fun to watch. So no David Price slander will be appreciated in this chat. None whatsoever. Yeah, it's the attitude Allen has that puts me off. He thinks he can come and go in the sport as he wants and banks on his name to keep getting pay-per-view fights. Yeah, exactly. Like, his career has basically been it's been fucking based on shit banter and, a cult social media following. And again, like I said, it's not about lack of talent. I like a lot of fighters who aren't that talented. You know, as long as they apply themselves and make for good fights, I'll keep on watching them. Like Gabriel Rosado is the perfect example. What's the guy had now? Like 13 losses? But he always comes to fight. He's always in shape. I'll always watch him. I'll always watch him. It's not about lack of talent. It's not about that. I'm not one of these guys who only watches boxing at a certain level. I'll watch boxing across all levels, area level to world level. It's not about lack of talent. It's about lack of application. And then on top of that, the excuses that come with that. It's nobody's fucking fault that Dave Allen was drinking before the David Price fight the night before, apart from him. It's nobody's fault that he's a fat mess who can't train. It's his fault. It's a joke. Big up to the boxing lounge in the house. Salute to the boxing lounge. Never forget, 100%, never forget. That's going to live down, one of my favourite fights of like 2019, when David fucking Price put Dave Allen on a stretcher. You guys can tell I don't like Dave Allen. And I'm one of these people who I'm not one of these guys who fucking hates on fighters. There's very few fighters I dislike, but Dave Allen is one of them. Dave Allen is one of them. Price is more pay-per-view worthy than most. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Price is more pay-per-view worthy than most, yep. Yeah. He turned Frankie Boy into a tranny pigeon. David Price getting knocked out. That's the level of entertainment and ratings that fucking David Price delivers. He can turn people into trannies. Who else can do that? You tell me. Yeah, exactly. The Tony Thompson post-fight interview after David Price, iconic. When you look at Price's career, there's so many iconic scenes that will always be in my memory. The commentary when he got knocked out by Erkan, it was John Rawling, and when he got knocked out, it was hilarious. He's like, "Dear, oh dear, oh dear," like real condescending, man. It was hilarious. The guy, man. I need to make a David Price career review when he retires, though. I'm going to do that. Yeah, Price versus Huey. Yeah, let's get it. Yeah, Pricey versus Allen, one of the funniest fights. I was laughing throughout. He completely battered him, put him in hospital, and made people get the oxygen out. Somebody needs to get a clay model of Price's jaw. Yeah, he was. Yeah, when he was unbeaten, when Pricey was unbeaten, he was with Frank Maloney. Yeah, because Frank was saying, "Oh, this guy's the next Lennox Lewis. He's going to get me back to the big time." Yeah, it's hilarious. Yes, big up Pricey. Kevin McBride? Nah. He's fighting Evander Holyfield, isn't he? In an exhibition. Kevin McBride. Yeah. I just don't like it when I don't like people who refuse to take responsibility. I've never liked those sort of people. Exactly, yeah. Chisora has 10 losses, and he can still draw because everybody knows that Chisora is going to bring it. Exactly, bro. It's not about the losses. It's not about the lack of talent or anything like that. It's not about that with Dave Allen. Like Chisora, Rosado, these sort of guys, man, they get work. They get paid. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. I'd favour Alan Babich. It's a good fight, though. Is there a rematch clause for Andrade versus Williams? There shouldn't be because it's a mandatory. So I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, also David Price getting bit on his tit. Yep. Cash Ali. See, there's so many memories from Price's career. Pricey could beat Trevor Bryan. I'm not saying he would. But he could beat Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan's not good at all. He really isn't that great. Imagine David Price. That's what I would do if I was like managing David Price right now. I'd get him ranked in the WBA, and I'd get a fight with Trevor Bryan for the regular WBA heavyweight title. David Price holding any sort of heavyweight title would make my fucking year. Fury ducked Price. He did. Yeah, he did back in the day. He did. Is Frank full female then? Got it chopped off, laugh out loud. He did, yeah. He went for the full fucking shebang. He went for the fucking full shebang. Do you think he kept it in a jar afterwards? Like once he got snipped? Do you think he kept it in a jar? Like in a pickle jar? Big stiff idiot. I'm not sold on Haney. Linares' fight will be interesting. Yeah, I agree. It's a big test for Devin Haney. It's definitely a big test. So we'll find out a few more things about Devin in that fight. All I really want to see in that fight, I want to see Devin get fucking clipped to see what his chin is like. That's what I want to see. Yeah, man, he got it chopped off, bro. He got it chopped off. Yeah, it is boring, Pigeon. It is boring because fucking you could understand, yeah, if these guys were fighting each other. That's fair enough. But when these guys are doing nothing, it's fucking hard to talk about. Like I can't talk about Spence and Crawford anymore. It's just whatever. When they fight, they fight. If they don't fight, they don't fight. Whatever. I don't give a fuck now, to be honest. I'm past caring about that fight. Crawford and Spence. I'm past caring. Yeah, Frank Maloney cut off his baloney. Yeah, he did. He did. He got it snipped off, man. He got it snipped off. I best not talk too much on that because I'll get done for hate speech. You know how the world is these days. So soft. So soft, man. You can't have a laugh about anything in 2021. You're transphobic. Go fuck yourself. Holyfield versus Spinks would be a good fight. I think Holyfield would be too much, man. I think he would get on top of Spinks, out-muscle him, outwork him, and beat him. Watch Spence drop his IBF belt if Ennis becomes IBF Mando. We'll see, man. We'll see. That's what I would do, though, if I was Jaron Ennis. I'd try and fight Abdu Kakarov and get that mandatory spot. That's what I would try and do if I was Ennis. Because the IBF, as we know, they are very strict with their mandatories. So I quite like Ennis, though. I think he's quite good. I've seen a lot of harsh analysis on Ennis after the Lipinets fight. Don't get me wrong. Defensively, he does leave openings. He does get caught, but like physically, he's going to be a hard fight for most guys in that division. Jaron Ennis. I like Ennis, man. I like his style. Finally, Bogdan Dinu gets his shot. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Bogdan Dinu fighting for an interim title and Dubois for that matter. It's a decent fight to come back to for Dubois. It's not the fight I've got a problem with. It's the fucking interim belt. It's a joke. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's only 2 fights away from a title shot. Yeah, Lipinets was ranked number 3 in the IBF. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I like him, man. I like him. I like his style. He comes to fight. Nice uppercuts up close. You know, he'll put his shots together well. I like Jaron Ennis. I think he's a good prospect. I'd love to see Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. That'd be a great fight. See, that's why people are excited by Ortiz and Ennis, because like these guys at welterweight are doing nothing right now. That's why people are getting so excited by these guys coming up. People want to change at this point. I'm bored of Terence Crawford. I'm bored of Errol Spence. I'm bored of that whole fucking discussion. To be honest, if I had my way, you'd get Spence versus fucking Ennis, and you'd get Ortiz versus Crawford next. That's what you'd get if I had my way. I want those fights to happen at this point. I don't care if those guys are young. I really don't care. Fuck it. Let's make those fights happen, man. Make those fights happen. Why the fuck not? What's there to be scared of? Ennis versus Conor. Conor is young and fast. Tried to take his head off, laugh out loud. Do you know what, Pigeon? I think Conor fucking gets ended in that fight. I really do. Listen, I like Conor. He's grown on me as a fighter. When he turned pro, I didn't rate him whatsoever. I'll be honest. I didn't rate him whatsoever. But he's improved a lot. He's coming on well. But I think there's a long way to go. I think there's a long way to go with Conor Benn. I'll take Ennis in that fight right now. Listen, if it happened, I'll be excited. Don't get me wrong, but Ennis is massive for welterweight. He's fucking huge. Conor Benn's not really a big welterweight. What's he, 5'7", 68-inch reach? He's not that big, man. He's not that big. Talk to Robert Garcia because he said he's not putting Ortiz in with Crawford anytime soon. Virgil Ortiz says otherwise, man. He says he wants that fight. If Virgil wants it, fuck it. Let's make it. Let's make it. Is that true? People forget Nigel is Conor's dad, the longest reigning WBC middleweight champion ever. Is he the longest reigning WBC champion at middleweight? I never knew that. Yeah, Ennis is the same size as Sugar Ray. 5'10", 74-inch reach. He's a big dude. Conor is small but bulking up like Canelo. He's definitely bulked up. Yeah, he's definitely bulked up. But he still looks small to me, though, Pigeon. He still looks small. Oh, yeah. Nigel Benn was a massive cokehead in his day. He was on coke. He was on pills. He was on all sorts. Nigel Benn was he was closely associated with the Essex boys, and obviously, as we know, those guys were they were ecstasy pushers in Essex. We all know how they ended up. They got shot up in a Land Rover. They got fucking shotgunned to death, basically. But yeah, you can. I think it's the Gerald McClellan fight actually, where what's his name? One of the Essex boys actually walks Nigel Benn into the ring. What's his name? Tony Tucker. Yeah, Tony Tucker. He walked Nigel Benn into the ring for Gerald McClellan. So, yeah, Nigel Benn was a psycho in his day. Nigel Benn was a fucking savage. And it showed in the ring as well, man. Guy was a G. Frank Bruno was friends with the Essex boys too. I never knew that. See, I never knew that. I knew Nigel was. I never knew Frank was. One of the Essex boys' killers, they're out now. They're out of prison, recently released. See, the theory is most people don't believe the guys who got sent down were guilty of killing the Essex boys. There's a lot of theories in regards to that case. A lot of people think it was a police hit, that the police had those guys killed, because the Essex boys, they was dealing in Basildon in various clubs. And what happened was there was a policeman's daughter who obviously went clubbing. She had one of these pills and she died. And a theory was that because this girl was a policeman's daughter who died from these ecstasy pills, and one of the theories was that the police had these guys killed because of that. Who knows, though? Who knows? But the guy who's been released for the killings, he's always maintained his innocence. Like, he could have got out years ago if he just admitted he did it, but he never did. He said it wasn't him, wasn't involved, and he was wrongly imprisoned. So that's a really interesting case. The Essex Boys murders, really interesting case. But yeah, Nigel Benn was a fucking savage, man. Guy was in the army, in Northern Ireland, on the streets. Nigel Benn was a real fighter in more ways than one. You don't get guys like that now in British boxing. Those like hard-nosed fucking soldiers. You know what I mean? Those fucking psychos. You don't get guys like that anymore. It's far too fucking PC now. It's far too... Yeah, it's just... Everyone's too cookie... everybody's too cookie cutter in the UK. Like, oh, yes, I've had a great training camp, blah, blah, blah. I want to hear you say you're going to fucking crack that guy's skull. That's what I want to hear. But yeah, I always liked Nigel Benn more than Chris Eubank. Nigel Benn fucking put it all on the line. Like, he went to America. He fought Gerald McClellan. He fought better guys than Eubank did. And he got fucking robbed against Eubank in the second fight as well. Got fucking robbed. I lived in Essex for 12 months working in the 2000s. 5 minutes from Basildon, where the Essex Boys Club, you said, was. They drank in a Yates wine lounge. Yeah, wine lodge, yeah. Yeah, Michael Watson was very good as well. Real good boxer. Real good boxer. Not really, man. Not really. It is what it is, man. Yeah, the Essex Boys, yeah, they were real, man. They were psychos. They pissed off too many people, though. They pissed off too many people. They was making money, and they stepped on too many toes, though, the Essex Boys. They weren't really gangsters like that. They were thugs who were making money. And you know what thugs are like when they make money? They brag, they step on people's toes, they upset people, and then they get fucking ended. Like, the old school didn't appreciate them, how they was conducting business. Terence Crawford's a can crusher and is going to duck Ennis and Ortiz. We'll see, man. I wonder why Charlo is so happy with the Chenko win. The guy was coming off 3 wars, and this man Charlo's acted like that was his legacy fight. Yeah, I know, man. Jamal Charlo's being completely embarrassed by his brother, Andre. Like, Jamal Charlo's putting in work, man. He's about to fight for Undisputed. He's fought all the guys that he should fight. He's putting in work, but Jamal, how can you sit there and be outperformed by your little brother? Come on, Jamal. Jamal's just fucking wasting time right now. I played for Basildon Badminton Club. Not exactly hard. No, I'm the same, bro. I'm not a hard man. Done some dumb things in my life, but I'm not that way inclined. Yeah, there's a YouTube highlight video of Nigel Benn set to smack my bitch up, gets the blood pumping. Yeah, Prodigy. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's how they got access to the clubs. That's how they got. Yeah, they was running doors all over like London and Essex. Yeah, the clubs. Yeah, they got the doors, and then they had like control of who was dealing in the club, kind of thing. I think the Essex Boys were primarily marijuana. No, sorry, ecstasy. Sorry. Maybe, yeah, maybe a Dare Pennant, yeah. They've got the build for it, no doubt. George C, he says Watson could have been the best of the 3. Benn, Eubank and Watson, so talented. Yeah, he was. Like, he beat Nigel Benn. I thought he clearly beat Eubank in that first fight. And the second fight, he was schooling Eubank until that knockout. He was a good boxer, Michael Watson, real good boxer. Yeah, I like Michael Watson. Seems like a good dude as well, Michael Watson. Like, a lot of guys in that position, yeah. If that happened to a lot of people, they'd be bitter, they'd be twisted. But Michael Watson, man, he takes it all in his stride. You got to respect that. Doesn't blame anybody. Look at Crawford's misses and you think he's scared of Ortiz. Oh, dear. Yeah, like imagine calling somebody out and then say they say they want the fight. Then you proceed to say they need a vaccine and be over 25. Yeah, it's a joke, bro. Oh, yeah, no doubt, Duck. Yeah, it's a trash fight, Benavidez, but Jamal Charlo ducked him. Caleb Plant has no interest whatsoever in fighting Benavidez. He's got to stay active. It's a WBC eliminator, so whatever, man. It's not a good fight, though. It's not a good fight. I'm not going to say it is. It's a trash fight, actually. But he's wanting to. He wants to fight Charlo. He wants to fight Plant. These guys don't want to fight him. Even Billy Joe, before he fought Canelo, this was a little while ago, he said himself there was no reason to fight Benavidez. There's no reason to even try because of the promotional issues. So none of these guys want to fight him at 168. Where was Canelo when Benavidez was the WBC champion? Where was this desire? Where was that desire to unify at 168 then when Benavidez had the belt? Wasn't there. All of these guys see something in Benavidez, I'm telling you. They see something in this kid. They know he's dangerous. Is everything open there in the UK, Del? No, not really. So pubs are now open, but like gardens only. So you can have like if a pub's got a garden, they can open and serve outside. But yeah, nothing's really open. It's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah, I agree, Pigeon. Yeah, I reckon they get fruity in London, and London criminals are 10 times worse than Essex. Yeah. Could you do a video on every British prospect at every weight? I could do. It would take a long time, though, man. It would take a long time. To tell you the truth, Haydar, I don't really rate many prospects in the UK. I always get told I'm fucking harsh on UK fighters. I always get told that, but we've seen so many UK guys get hyped up beyond belief and fail. That's why I'm harsh on these UK fighters, man. Now look at Caleb Plant, man. When both of those guys were champions, Plant wanted nothing to do with Benavidez, man. Look at the body language. He knows he'll get beat up, man. He knows it. Caleb knows it, man. What's Caleb gonna do, man? In that fucking shoulder roll, throwing one punch at a time with no power. He's gonna invite that pressure on himself and get beat up. 100%. That's an easy fight to call. Easy fight to call. And Plant knows it as well. Plant knows it as well. Uskatagi reminds me of Machado. He's got the heart, but his chin doesn't hold up at world level. Yeah, that's fair enough. He's a fun fighter, but he's been found out now. He's been found out. Yeah, I like him. I like David Morrell. I think he's a good prospect. The Cuban kid. Yeah, I like him. Like his style. His style's not like stereotypically Cuban. He'll throw his combinations. He'll get involved. He'll try and hurt you. I like Morrell, and he can box as well. He's a good prospect. Yeah, he is, man. He's crazy. He's crazy. PBC love Canelo. He wins, and they feed him Benavidez. He loses. They get Benavidez versus Plant. Fuck a PBC. I want to see honestly, I want to see Benavidez Plant just to see Plant get beaten up. I can't stand Caleb Plant for whatever reason. Just rubs me up the wrong way. Something about that guy, man, not trustworthy. Something about that guy. Don't like him at all. And I genuinely think he loses that fight as well. I'm not just saying that because I like Benavidez. I genuinely think he loses that fight. What do you think of Tank's? What do you think Tank's optimum weight is? I would say 130. To be honest, Haydar, he's 5'10". What's he? 5'5". Not got a long reach. I think 130 really for Tank Davis. Then 135 in and around those weights. If you could work for a boxing broadcaster, what would you like to do? Like commentary or interviewer? I wouldn't do neither, man. Honestly, I wouldn't have any interest. Not my thing. If I was commentating, I'd fucking swear after a while. I know it would come out, guarantee you. And being an interviewer, I've never liked the thought of that. Never liked the thought of it, to be honest. If I were to work in boxing, though, I'd like to be a matchmaker. That's what I'd like to be, a matchmaker. I'm tuning into boxing with Sean. Must be an old thing. Oh yeah, big up Sean, man. I like Sean. Bum-ass Durrell did a pretty good job controlling Benavidez with a jab, body to head. Gavril too. Plant has a great chance to win, in my opinion. Great jab he's got. Man, listen, his legs are nowhere near as good as people say. He's not that fleet-footed. His shoulder roll defense is terrible. He's got no power to keep Benavidez at bay. Plant doesn't move around for 12 rounds. He's very flat-footed at times. He invites himself on the ropes. He'll get worked over, man. Trust me. He'll get worked over. Guarantee it, man. Guarantee it. Imagine like standing with that shoulder roll defense, throwing one punch at a time with no power, flat-footed against Benavidez. He's not going to keep Benavidez at bay. He's not. He might box well for the first 2 or 3 rounds and win a few rounds, but he'll get broken down like Cotto did against Margarito. Caleb Plant will take a knee and he'll quit. He'll get stopped definitely, but he might quit. I'm going all in on Benavidez. Naril, he says, big up Dell. Do you think Benavidez will get a shot at Canelo after? Sorry. Do you think Benavidez is going to get a shot after Canelo Plant? I hope so. I think he's the most interesting fight for Canelo at 168. If Golovkin doesn't move up, of course. I think Benavidez is the most interesting fight. I hate Plant. He seems like a simp. Plant is a fraud champion holding a belt. He looked good against what's his face, Uzcategui, when Uzcategui was actually doing something good. I'm not saying Plant's a bad fighter. I'm not saying he's terrible. I just think he's exceptionally overrated. People see a little shoulder roll, a few flashy jabs, a few flashy counters, and they think he's Mayweather. I don't think he's that great at all. Del, would you be a promoter or manager? Nah, fuck that, man. Fuck that. Maybe a manager, but not a promoter. I'll take Benavidez to beat Melakuziev. Too big, too strong. He'll walk him down. There you go. Benavidez. It'll be a good fight, though. Listen, what it is with Melakuziev, I need to see a bit more. But I do rate him. I like Melakuziev a lot. Yeah, Plant's going to try and shoulder roll 10-punch combos, yeah. Listen, man, go back and watch that Caleb Truax fight. Every single time Truax threw an overhand right, he was getting caught. His defense is so fucking overrated. So overrated. Nah, man. I don't think he's got much power. I really don't. He's got a little bit of snap, but I don't think he's got the power to keep Benavidez at bay. I don't think he hits harder than Anthony Durrell, for example. And Benavidez ate that up. He ate that shit up. He'll guarantee you he'll walk through Caleb Plant. He'll walk through him. Yeah. That Josh Kelly Philly shell face as defense, yeah. Most of these guys with fucking Philly shells, man, they're there to be beat. Yeah, Hosea Burton, though, just got beat recently and he's not been seen since. Hosea Burton, I'm not really interested in Hosea Burton these days. But listen, he'll be better than Yard's current opponent, the German dude. I'll say that. Is Haney overhyped? I think he's talented. I think he's got potential, but yeah, right now, people are calling him the next Mayweather. He's definitely being overhyped by a lot of people. Needs to prove a lot more. But I think he's talented. Devin Haney. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Jose is Fury's cousin. Yeah. Yeah. Buglioni's retired now. Yeah. Never knew his family was loaded though. So yeah, he didn't need boxing. Okay. I agree, Andre. I think Buatsi to me looks like a small light heavyweight. He's very narrow, very thin. So if he could make 168, I think it'll be beneficial for Buatsi. If you was a fighter, who would you like to be your promoter or manager or self-promoted? If I just turned pro, I'd want to go with Top Rank because their matchmaking is the best for young fighters. But if I was like established, I'd want to go with Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, for the hype and the pay. Yeah, man. I have women's slippers on. Would I look like a simp going to get some beer with them on? Go for it, man. I'm sure you see some stranger things in Birmingham, Pigeon. I'm sure you see some stranger things. Go for it, man. I've got a few beers in the fridge. I've only got some San Miguel, though. Yeah, his defense got exposed in that fight. The straight punches were getting through far too often, man. Far too often. Buatsi's got a lot of work defensively to do. He's got good offense. He's a good body puncher. He's got nice punch technique, decent combinations. I like his finishing instinct as well. Offensively, Buatsi's quite good, but defensively, there's a lot there to be desired. Yes, big up to Crusader Cross, man. What's next for Lomachenko? Nakatani, the Japanese dude. That's what's going to happen next, according to reports. That's a hard fight, in my opinion. Big up to Marcy D. Yeah, Matchroom's a good shout. If I turned pro though, I'd go Top Rank just for the matchmaking and the right development fights. One criticism I have of Matchroom, I don't think Matchroom are the greatest at like matching young fighters, getting them the right fights at the right time. I think that's where Top Rank excel when it comes to matchmaking young prospects. Prince Philip funeral's dope. Yeah, that's today, innit? Prince Philip's funeral. Jesus Christ. He couldn't even give us a fucking bank holiday weekend, Pigeon. Couldn't even give us a bank holiday fucking weekend. What a selfish bastard. Boxing learner. I don't like it personally. When every single fight, if someone's beat somebody and somebody else fights them, every single time people call it fighters leftovers. I can understand, if that fighter is washed up. I can understand then, but like it's overplayed. It's overplayed. Sorry, it's overplayed. Who's got the best youngsters, Matchroom or Queensbury? I would say Matchroom internationally. To be honest, I'd say Matchroom. How highly do you rate Lyndon Arthur? I think he's good, man. He's got a nice jab. He does the basics well. He's a good mover. I would say good European level fighter. A good European level fighter. I don't think he'll be world level, but he's good European level guy. Anthony Joshua versus Ike Ibushi fantasy matchup. If Joshua can't get Ibushi out of there, and Iabushi's continuing to apply that pressure, work in the body, not taking a backward step, you could see Joshua getting stopped late. But I think I would favour Joshua. I think I'd favour Joshua. Sonny Edwards and Lyndon Arthur, they are chavvy, but I like them. Do you know what, Pigeon? I was watching a fucking BT show the other day, and they was on commentary, or not commentary, but there was like pundits, and they actually did a good job, much better than Johnny Nelson, who's been doing it for years. How do you think Sims Jr. versus Buatsi or Yard would go? I think Buatsi beats Sims Jr. I think Sims Jr. could beat Yard via boxing. Oh, AJ versus Tua. I think AJ would follow the Lennox Lewis game plan. Andre, I think he would outbox David Tua. But if he gets caught by Tua, it's lights out. But I would say AJ on points. Denzel Bentley, Felix Cash, who have you got? I've got Denzel Bentley. I think Bentley, from what I've seen of Bentley, he's much more versatile. I've seen him box. I've seen him brawl. He can bang. He can come forwards. He can go backwards. I think he's much more versatile. Felix Cash kind of does. He kind of does the same thing over and over every fight. I've got Denzel Bentley winning that fight, maybe by stoppage late on, maybe by stoppage, but I certainly think he wins. Yeah, let's hope the old cunt doesn't get his wish and reincarnating as a deadly virus to thin out the population. Yeah. I can't stand that rat Sonny Edwards. Yeah, he's not everyone's cup of tea, Sonny. He's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, Frank's a bitter old man, Haydar. Fury probably stops AJ. AJ has a gas tank and chin issue. Moving like he's done in recent fights isn't the way to beat Fury. He needs to get close. I agree, Jazz. That's why I think Fury needs to box and move. He needs to make AJ chase that fight, make AJ be the aggressor. I think he'll outbox Joshua on the outside. I'm not sure whether he stops him. If he does, it will be late on by accumulation. But Fury needs to box and move in that fight. Feint, keep on circling Joshua, make Joshua reset, pop the jab. That's what Fury needs to do in that fight. If Fury's aggressive, though, like he was against Wilder, Fury could get knocked out in that fight. Joshua's a lot more Joshua's a lot more offensively gifted than Wilder. A lot more dangerous. Yeah, I watch the same show. Sonny knows his boxing big time. There are chavs and chavs. Shannon Courtney's a real chav. Sonny Edwards sounds it, but definitely he's not stupid. Johnny Nelson's a complete turd. Lyndon Arthur is the special guest pundit for Bentley versus Cash. Hope so. I hope so. I like Lyndon Arthur. I think body shots is going to be the main key to victory for Joshua. Yeah, I could see it. Joshua can dig to the body as well when he wants to. He doesn't do it enough, but he can body punch. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, Hashman. I'm feeling Andrade on points in that fight. Maybe a late stoppage. Looking forward to Usman versus Masvidal 2, Del. Not really, man. The first fight was fucking terrible. It was really bad. I think Usman's going to do the same thing. Wrestle, keep Masvidal against the cage. It's going to be the same thing. Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll get exposed soon. Canelo Alvarez. Far too many question marks about Edgar Berlanga. Far too many question marks. He's a big kid. He can punch a bit, but that's all I really know about him. Has he got a good chin? Can he take a punch? What's his gas tank like? What's his boxing ability like? We know nothing about Edgar Berlanga apart from he can punch a bit. That's all we know. That's all we know. I saw that, Duck. I saw that little beef between Sonny Edwards and Cameron. Yeah, I saw that. That's a good fight, Hashman. I'd watch it. Yeah, there's a sparring clip where Berlanga is gassed versus Lubin. Yeah, Lubin was schooling him, if that's the same one I've seen. And it was years ago, like Cashman says, but I'm not sold on Berlanga at all. I'm not sold whatsoever. Yeah, I don't like that fight, Haydar. Richards is going to get beat up. I don't like that fight. Oh, yeah, it's confirmed, Pigeon. I think that fight goes down, I want to say end of this month, you know. I want to say end of this month. I might be wrong. I think it's this month, though. Next weekend, maybe. It's a hard fight to call. F.A. Jagba versus Frank Sanchez. Who have you got? I probably favour Frank Sanchez, to be honest. I probably favour Frank Sanchez. That's true, you know. Is Castillo better than Richards? Probably on the same level, man. But it's still a bad fight. Still a bad fight. I think Masvidal could actually win this fight. He won't be as drained, so he'll have more power. Plus, Usman's coming off a war. He got dropped and hurt bad. Maybe, man. I just think fucking Usman's going to neutralize him again. He's going to wrestle him, get him down, you know, and I think he'll win on points again. I think Usman's too well rounded for Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, Lenin Castillo did okay versus Marcus Brown. Dropped him. Yeah, he did. Next weekend, yeah, okay. Usman Masvidal's next weekend. I thought it was. I thought it was this month. Fantasy matchup: Dell versus Unrivaled. I've got a better jab. I'm more slick than Unrivaled. He's a bigger dude though. I'm 6'1". He's what, 6'4", 6'5". He's got a lot of weight on me, but I'll need to get in and out behind the jab. I need to box a boring fight. I think Edmondson's going to win a Haydar. Yeah, I think the same thing, Hashman. I think the same thing. Like Masvidal could win the first round when he's fresh, if he can stay on his feet. But after that, I think Usman gets on top of him and works him. I'd say like a 4-1 type of fight. Pigeon's got Usman round 4 armbar. Interesting. I like this fight, Jazz. Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios. He says it's a top fight, but it's pay-per-view. It's going to do terrible numbers, in my opinion. Yeah, listen, I feel for you guys in the States, the fact that that fight is pay-per-view. But I don't mind the fight itself. Barrios is much bigger, much longer. He's a real 140-pounder. It's a massive size difference in that fight. Tank's more naturally talented, but I think that's a good fight. I like that fight a lot. Whitaker, I would say. Whitaker. I got Whitaker. Hashman, he says he's losing patience on Buatsi. So inactive. He needs to fight Barrera, Brown, or even Vlasov. Would be a good fight. I tell you what, Hashman. Based on Buatsi's last performance against Kalic, and bear in mind there are some similarities between Kalic and Vlasov, I wouldn't put Buatsi anywhere near Vlasov. I wouldn't put him anywhere near Vlasov. He can do what Kalic did to a much better level, and he's a bigger dude than Kalic as well. So I wouldn't listen. I'd love to see the fight. Don't get me wrong, but if I was managing Buatsi, I wouldn't put him anywhere near Vlasov anytime soon. I think, honestly, if that fight happens next, I think Buatsi gets stopped. I think he gets stopped late on. Yes, big up to Jed Kyle in the house. Straight from down under. Big up to Jed Kyle. The Big Cheese's next fight will be the most highly watched. The Big Cheese is trending up. Yeah, man. He's a fun fighter, man. Ted Cheeseman. Apparently, the fight they're talking about is Ted Cheeseman versus Anthony Fowler. That'll be a good fight. Anthony Fowler can really punch. I can't stand Anthony Fowler as a person, but he's a fun fighter to watch. He can definitely punch. So that'll be a war if that fight happens next. Fowler and Cheeseman. It's whether Cheeseman can take his power. Cheeseman doesn't have great defense, and he's going to be there to be hit. I could see Fowler winning that fight by knockout. If he takes the power, though, he'll outwork Fowler. But yeah, big up to Jed Kyle, man. I've got no idea, Duck. I've got no idea. When is Marcus Brown finally entering the ring again? He's chinny, but very hard to win rounds against. I still rate him. Yeah, I think Marcus Brown does have ability. He does have talent. Tall, rangy southpaw, great hand speed. He's got good boxing fundamentals, but he's just not doesn't seem durable enough, Marcus Brown. And he's very inconsistent with his performances as well. 1 minute he looks great, the next he looks terrible. I would say Boxing Social. Hader, I would say Boxing Social. Conor Ben's making the so-called standout UK amateurs look weak, except Okoli. He's for real deal. Yeah, you can't argue. You can't argue with that. AA Boxing and Blunts. The Big Cheese versus the Big Egg was complete garbage, though. There wasn't much skills on display, but it was a fun fight for what it was. I thought he was fighting at 140. See, I don't think Prograis looks all that big, to be honest. Oh, that's an amazing fight, Andre. Junkambayev versus Subriel Matias, 140. That's on the undercard of Dinero Bali. That's a great fight. It's got brain damage written all over it, Andre. We can say that much. Both guys can punch. Both guys like to come forwards. Matias is more experienced. Little bit better work rate as well. I've got a feeling Matias wins, but I wouldn't be convinced. I've got a feeling Matias wins. That's what I'm worried about, Duck. I'm suspecting weight stipulations with Barrios versus Tank Dell. Some shenanigans. Tank going from bashing up bantamweights and featherweights to a big-ass light welterweight, laugh out loud. Too good to be true. That's what I'm worried about, Duck. That's what I'm worried about. But if there's no weight stipulations, I think it's a good fight. I really do. First sex in 10 months earlier. My bell end was swollen to the size of a balloon. I disagree. I don't think Vlasov is a big puncher. I think Buatsi will get to him. He's a way better boxer than Joe Smith. I would chuck him in with Vlasov. He did lose to Chilemba and Ramirez. The Ramirez fight was very close, and he avenged that Chilemba defeat. I think Vlasov hits hard enough to hurt Buatsi. Buatsi was getting broke up by Kalic, who can't punch. His eye was fucked up. He was getting marked up. I thought Vlasov hurt Joe Smith later on in that fight. He hurt Joe Smith a couple of times. He's got activity. He can fight at both ranges, on the inside and on the outside. He's a lot more versatile than Buatsi. I don't know about that, man. I really do. And also the size difference as well. Buatsi's a small light heavyweight. He's a small light heavyweight, man. I think Vlasov would be incredibly hard for Buatsi. I'd like to see it though. Listen, if Buatsi thinks he's world level, why not? Fucking let's go. Can't believe Ted Cheeseman is so young. He's been around for a while and he got his face fucked up from tough fights. I thought he was like 30. Haha. Yeah, exactly. I think he's younger than me. He's 25. I'd go Fino boxing, Michael Van Gerwen. Fino boxing. Subriel Matias, round 7 stoppage. I think the pressure could be too much, Hashman. from Matthias. I think he might just outwork and grind him down. It's a good fight, though. The Big Egg versus Paulie Malignaggi, worst fight, 2010 to 2020. The funny thing about that fight was when Paulie was teeing off on Eggington and nothing was happening, man. Hilarious. I think Arthur would beat Buatsi. I think Buatsi beats Arthur, you know. That Yard fight to me, yeah. The Yard fight, I felt Arthur won it, but Yard threw that fight away, man. At the end of that fight, when Yard was letting go of his shots, he was getting to Lyndon Arthur. If Yard threw some punches, I think he would have won that fight, man. I think that fight was more down to Yard not doing anything than really Lyndon being a great boxer. In my opinion. Pigeon's got Arthur over Buatsi. It'd be a good fight. What's the name of that Scottish fighter you hate? He lost quite recently. Scottish fighter I hate. I like Taylor. I like Ricky Burns. Scottish fighter. Oh, Willie Hutchinson. Yeah, that guy's a clown. Yeah, Willie Hutchinson. Yeah, he got knocked out by Lennox Allen. Yeah. Or Lennox Clark, whatever his name was. Yeah, he got knocked out. Vlasov beats the crap out of Buatsi. The straight punches from him are a nightmare. He's got stamina, durability, size, strength. No way. I agree, Duck. Totally agree. I'm a big fan of Cordina. What do you see happening next? He seems to be staying at 130. Hands seem to be very fragile, though. Just hope we don't see Cordina versus Gamboa at the end of the year. I'm not sure with Cordina, to be honest. I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight for a European title, maybe, in his next fight. But I'm not really as high on him as a lot of people are. Like you say, his physicality, his brittle hands, I think will actually be his undoing. Yeah. So, yeah. If whoever wins that Matthias Jinkambayev fight will fight the winner of Ritson and Ponce, the Argentinian fighter. Imagine, Hashman, imagine fucking Matthias versus Lewis Ritson. Lewis Ritson's going to get killed, man. You could be right. Exactly. Cheeseman is pure entertainment. Forget a holiday in 2021. Go take the kids and missus to a big Cheeseman fight. I like Cheeseman, man. For what he is, man, he's a fun fighter. Fuck Ritson, laugh out loud. MTK put on great shows. When Eddie and Frank aren't in town, which broadcaster should Lee Eaton pick up? Listen, man, we don't know what's going on with Sky right now. If Matchroom move from Sky, maybe you could see MTK go on Sky. I wouldn't be surprised. He didn't look great, in my opinion, Michael Van Gerwen, in his pro debut. He didn't look great. Threw a lot of punches, but very raw, very novice-y. He'll be a knockout waiting to happen. Good fight, yeah. That's the sort of fight I'm talking about for Cordina. Yeah, that's a good fight. Cordina, Zelfa Barrett, yeah. Yeah, the guy that beat Hutchinson would be a good next opponent for David Morrell Jr. I'd watch it. Apparently, though, they're looking at John Ryder for David Morrell, Duck. That'd be a great fight. Big up to the main man, G-Man. Every single time, man. Big up to G-Man. And by the way, guys, if you've not checked out G-Man's channel, I highly implore you to do so. Very good channel. Class act, nice guy. Covers for sport every single day. A lot of content. Very good channel, man. So big up to G-Man. Check out his channel, man. Real good stuff. Jamal Charlo's a coward. Yeah, he's not covering himself in glory right now, AJ Morningstar. Yeah, big up the ripped jeans, man. King of ripped jeans. I might have to get some myself, some ripped jeans in honor of G-Man. For Geordie Golovkin would get put in a spliff. He would, yeah, he would indeed. He'll get smoked. He'll get smoked. Left BT on during the week after the Champions League. They had a documentary on Frank Warren. Did you see it? No, I've been meaning to see it though, Packer. I've been meaning to see it. Was it any good? Was it any good? Yeah, I think he looks bad as well, G-Man. Nick Campbell. I think he looks bad as well. Oh, is Joe Laws coming back on the Ritson card? Yeah, I don't like Joe Laws. He's another clown. Yeah, Cheeseman has fought some good guys. Bump of K. Yeah, he's fighting in a eliminator against an Argentinian fighter, Haydar. Yeah, John Ryder Belanga. That's a great shout, Jed Kyle. Great shout. Because John Ryder's got a decent chin. He's not going to go down from the first shot. He's a tough, rugged, durable guy. Fights out of that crouch. A great body puncher. Very good inside fighter. Awkward southpaw. That'll be a very good fight for Belanga. That'll be a very good fight. Love to see that. Yeah, I'd agree with this. Yeah, if Lerone Richards had power, he'd be a massive force at 168. Yeah, I'd agree, man. He can box, he can counter, he's awkward. Just doesn't have the power, Lerone Richards. So are you going to go with John Ryder? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's a massive step up very early. I would imagine, though, that'll be on a PBC card, Duck. What's next for Sean Porter? I want to see him fight again. I mean, listen, if Terence Crawford doesn't fight Pacquiao next, that's what I want to see. Porter versus Crawford. I think that's the fight to make. Yes, big up to G-Man every single time. Real good channel. Real good channel. And by the way, guys, check out Mad Chad as well. Check out Mad Chad. He's got a good channel as well. He's recently started uploading boxing content. Oh yeah, Jed, man. Jamal's opponent is awful. Like I said earlier, man, he's the big brother. Yeah, he should be leading by example. But his little brother is putting him to shame right now. Fuck. Canelo is the pound-for-pound king. According to most publications, he is. Yeah, he is. Did you see Zuko versus Capuano yesterday? I think Zuko has a good future at 168. He's got a good jab when he uses it. He can cover up, close the distance, works the body well, all with solid power. I didn't see it, bro. I'll have to check it out. Was it that DAZN card? Yeah, I'd watch it. Hashman Boxing. He looks good, actually. Dalton Smith. Good prospect out of the UK. He can definitely punch a bit, Dalton Smith. I'd go Larry Holmes, prime for prime. Larry Holmes on points for jab. The jab will be too much for Ike Ibushi. Haha, Laws is coming back. How many fights before he gets knocked out again? As soon as he fights somebody with a pulse, G-Man, he'll get knocked out again. Yeah, Bektemir versus Jacobs. That's a good fight. I'd love to see it. I think Jacobs now is there for the taking. It looks like his desire isn't where it once was. To be honest, he seems like he's on the way out, basically. So I think Danny Jacobs is now there for the taking. We'll see, though. Be a good fight. Jamal Charlo will have a devastating KO like Centennial Jr. I agree. Yeah, Ryder exposed a Lebanese prospect from Sydney named Bilal. Yeah, that's Bilal Akwai, whatever his name was. Yeah, that was training with Canelo on an undercard. I remember that. Jed Kyle. I got really good. I think John Ryder was the underdog. I got really good odds on John Ryder for that fight. Really good odds. I agree. Yeah, Crawford Porter is the next best thing to a Pacquiao or Spence fight. Yeah, I agree, man. Totally agree. Yes, sir. You know it. You know it, man, Chad. Joe Smith gets his head knocked off versus Beterbiev. I agree. They're going slow with Dalton Smith. Lee Appleyard is a 3-round fight. Do you mean a 4-round fight? Hashman. Jamal Charlo's the new Wilder at 160. I wouldn't go that far, but his resume's lacking for a guy who's like 31 years old now, 2-weight world champion. His resume's not great. Yeah, Jamel even trash talks his big brother. It's funny. Yeah, I like Jamel, man. I've said it for a while now on this channel. I've got no problem with Jamel Charlo. I know he's not for everybody in terms of like how he acts, but he fights people, man, and he's fun. And let's be honest, he's fun to watch as well for the most part. Jamel Charlo. So yeah, man, Jamel Charlo's got my respect, man. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the zone card. Yeah, that was headlined by Fabio Turchi. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Hashman. Sam Maxwell hasn't been looking good as a pro, in my opinion. I think he'll get knocked out. Yeah, Vlasov beat Smith. Boxing and bad scorecards, unfortunately, part of the game. Yeah, it is what it is, man. We've got to learn. Well, we deal with it, I guess. You know, we deal with it. God help us if Sonny Edwards becomes a world champion. Yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine gloves up boxing? Yeah, I don't think Jacobs is with Matchroom anymore. I think that contract expired. I think it expired. Yeah, he is underrated. He is underrated. I thought he won that fight though. At the time, I didn't score it, and I felt he won. I went back and rescored it, and I had it 8-4 to Vlasov. I want Beck to take him out, do what Golovkin and Canelo couldn't. It'll be a big statement. If Bektamir could fight Danny Jacobs and get the knockout, that'll be a huge fucking statement. Huge fucking statement. Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right, Hashman. Yeah, Maxwell was losing to that French kid getting hurt. He's limited to get stopped once he goes past British level. I agree. I agree. I agree, Nathan. I like Jamal as a fighter. I think he's a good fighter, good boxer puncher, good straight punches, does the basics real well, and he's got good power, but he's just not delivering right now. Not delivering. Yeah, I think that would be best for Danny Jacobs if he goes back to Andre Rozier. I'd agree with that. I picked Vlasov over Joe Smith and was pissed with a decision. 116, 112 Vlasov. Yeah, I think that's about right. I like Jamal as a fighter too, but fuck, he fights trash opponents a lot of the time, yeah. And he's not even super active either. He's not even super active. What I would say, yeah, for any fighter, if you're Jamal Charlo, yeah, and you legitimately can't get good opponents, then fight who you need to fight, but stay super active. Like Golovkin, when Golovkin first went on HBO, he was fighting 4 times a year. Even if it wasn't against great opponents, he was staying active. That's what I think you should do if you can't get opponents. Stay active and take care of these guys like you should do. Build some hype, build momentum. That's what a lot of these guys don't do. Yeah, that was a great fight, man. Charlo Harrison. Oh, I was talking about the second. Yeah, Charlo Harrison won the best 154 fight I've ever seen. Never knew who to give the rounds to. The first fight was a boxing match, a chess match. The second fight was a war, man. Absolute war. But yeah, Jamal Charlo's levels above Jamal Charlo in terms of who he's fought. Yeah, but Beterbiev didn't look so good in his last fight either. That's true. He looked a bit rusty. He looked a bit rusty. Hashman Beck's not stopping Danny Jacobs. Yeah, Danny is hard to get to. There's no doubt about it. Vlasov should have gone for the knockout. I agree, Nordic. What I noticed was, like, in rounds 8, 9, and 10, Vlasov was actually pushing Joe Smith back and was doing a very good job at it. He was getting on the inside, working, and Joe Smith really had no answer. He was smothering Joe's power and was putting in some real good work, but he stopped that. He kind of set his feet in round 11 and he got hurt. So, yeah, I think he should have continued the pressure. McLean's a great little fighter, but past it, Edwards might get him at this stage. Do you know what, Jed, man? If McLean even has 70%, I think he should beat Edwards. I really do. I think he should beat Edwards. Did Matchroom release him? See, I never knew that. Yeah, the little Charlo's doing some good work right now. He's fighting who he needs to fight, trying to become undisputed. He's a fun fighter to watch as well. But Jamal, on the other hand, like Nordic said, man, I just can't with Jamal. Just not interesting. Yeah, he could get stopped, Hashman. He's not got the power to keep McLean at bay. McLean's going to keep on pressuring him, work the body, drag him into a dog fight, and I think he'll knock him out. I think McLean knocks him out. Nah, man, I'm not sure about that. That was a flash knockdown as well, Duck. You know it. And he beat him up. He beat him easy in the rematch as well. So, but yeah, that'd be a great fight though. Benavidez versus Melikuziev. That'd be a great fight. Bektemir moves too much. He won't handle the 12 rounds versus Benavidez. That's one thing about Bektemir. His style is very. It utilizes a lot of stamina. Can he do that for 12 rounds in a hard fight? I'm not sure. He's a very good prospect, though, Melikuziev. Very good prospect. Brilliant body puncher. Brilliant body puncher. That's how he would need to fight, though. He would need to work that body of Benavidez, slow him down. But that'd be a great fight. Yeah, man. Jamel Castano's a great fight. Yeah, Jamel was chasing greatness while Jamal is a grade A clout chaser. I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Yeah, exactly, Jed. Kyle, can you imagine after that long title reign losing to Sonny Edwards? Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Tony Harrison's back today. Yeah. He's not fighting anybody decent, though. Okay, so Hearn apparently said Sims won't amount to anything after his loss. Sims Jr. said it in an interview. He had some buzz at one point. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, a lot of people liked Anthony Sims in the UK, but I've not seen that interview though. I'd be interested to see it. Let me try and find it. So I've got something to watch a bit later. I need to make my dinner soon, you know. I'm going to make some chili con carne. Why not? Okay, yeah, I found the interview, yeah. I found the interview. I'll watch that in a bit. Yeah, Beck beat the current 200-pound amateur world champion. Denzel Bentley, far too versatile for Felix Cashnathan. I've got Denzel Bentley. He would. I don't think he would hurt him with one shot, Duck. But the accumulation of shots could actually take its toll. It'll be a good fight, man. I do agree with this though. Overrated power, yeah. He can punch a bit, but like you're right, his power is overrated. But like you say, it's the accumulation. I'd like to see Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz. I'd watch it. I don't think it'll be a fun fight, though, stylistically. Yeah, Denzel Bentley's a great fucking name. Good old Denzel. Yeah, I think Bentley wins, though. I think he stops Felix Cash. I'm not really all that high on Felix Cash, to be honest with you. He's a good little domestic fighter, but I think Bentley's got a bit more about him. A bit more about him. He can box, he can brawl, he can punch, he can apply a bit of pressure. I've got Bentley. There's a reason why Eddie is willing to let there's a reason why Eddie's allowing Cash to fight on a Frank Warren card. I don't think Eddie really rates Felix Cash all that highly, to be honest. Yeah, he is rugged. Yeah, he is rugged. Felix Cash, he'll come to fight, no doubt, but I think that'll play into Bentley's hands. I really do. I've seen Bentley in the gym. He's got serious power. Yeah, you put me onto Bentley a long time ago, Hashman. You put me onto Bentley a long time ago. Yeah, I'll root for Bentley. Cash seems very rugged and handy when I've seen him. Jamal Charlo, Kelly Pavlik. That's a great fight. Kelly Pavlik was a bit more busy than Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo more accurate. I don't know, actually. That's a hard fight, fantasy-wise. It's a hard fight. Pavlik had a great chin, great power, big guy for middleweight as well. I think that'll be a bit of a war, Jamal Charlo, Kelly Pavlik. A battle between two boxer punchers. That'll be a war. I'll probably lean towards Kelly Pavlik, though. I'd lean towards Pavlik. Good fight, though, man. That's a great fantasy fight. Yeah, I agree, Jiho Park. Another thing as well, with Bektemir Melikuziev, I want to see him settle on one weight class, whether it be light heavyweight or 168. He needs to settle on one weight class. That's the first thing I want to see from Beck. Mario Barrios has the best name. Kind of comical name to me. Yeah, he's a good little fighter, Mario Barrios. He's decent. Denzel Bentley sounds like a 70s aftershave. I think he'll beat Signani, Hashman. Yeah, exactly, G-Man. If Cash was any use Hearn would have tried to get this on Sky. Cash has been pro for 5 years, not a draw, nothing special. Just had a good amateur career. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, Wellborn. Yeah, he wobbled Cash. Yeah, I agree, Jed Kyle. I think I'd lean towards Pavlik because ultimately I've not seen Jamal Charlo take care of anybody as good as Jermaine Taylor, for example. So I take Pavlik, but that'll be a war. That'll be a war. I don't think Pavlik gets stopped in that fight. If anybody gets stopped, I think it's Charlo. How do you rate Dan Aziz? He's fighting Ricky Summers. I think he'll beat Ricky Summers comfortably. Nathan, I've seen Aziz fight a couple of times. He's okay. Not too bad. Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, probably at 168, but Hopkins never really fought there. I take James Toney though over Hopkins, but I like James Toney. You guys know I like James Toney, so I take Toney over Hopkins. That's me being biased, though, I think. Exactly, Jed Kyle, yeah. Pavlik was a soldier, incredible toughness, yeah. Gervonta went, yeah. Charlo's got a great chin. I think he beats Pavlik. Charlo's never really been cracked by a monster puncher. Jamal Charlo, that is. Derevianchenko can crack a little bit, but he's not like a monster puncher. Julian Williams has got okay pop, but again, not a monster puncher. Like Kelly Pavlik could fucking crack in his right hand. He could really punch. So I'd lean towards Pavlik. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Pavlik had a great chin in his prime and huge power. He was limited, but man, he could punch. Yeah. Yeah, Pavlik Taylor 1 was a great fight. Yep. Yep. Hashman thinks Barrios gets clipped in that fight. You could be right. You could be right. Yeah, I want to see Bolotniks again, Nathan. He's a fun fighter. Again, that's another good fight for Joshua Buatsi, Richard Bolotniks. That's a good fight for him. Yeah, and he proved in the rematch he could box. He was a problem at middleweight. Yeah, I wish we got Nordic. I wish we got back then. I wish we got fucking Kelly Pavlik and Arthur Abraham at 160. That would have been a war, man. That would have been a war. Apparently, they was trying to make that fight, but Pavlik did not want to go to Germany. That's what I heard. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But can you imagine Arthur Abraham prime at 160 versus Kelly Pavlik at 160? That'd be a great fight. Fucking great fight. Again, can Tank's power translate to 140 against a big dude like that? I'm not so sure on that. I'm not so sure. I think we all realise, yeah, if Tank fought an elite level 140 pounder, he'd get fucking smoked. Like Taylor, Ramirez, Prograis, these guys smoke Tank Davis at 140. Is Tank Davis good enough to be a fringe top 10 guy like Barrios? I'm not so sure at 140. I'm really not. I'm not so sure. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. Yeah, Akhmedov is good. Yeah, I felt he beat Barrios, to be honest, Doc. Akhmedov. Yeah, there is a reason why Davis picked Barrios. That's true. That is true. That would have been amazing, Del. Yeah, Abraham wanted that fight, and Pavlik did not want to travel. That was actually why Abraham moved up in weight. Yeah, that would have been a great fight, man. I think Abraham had a lot more business at 160, to be honest. He was much more formidable at 160 than he was at 168. Yeah, it's hard to say with Tank. We've got no gauge on how his power is in the higher weights. Okay, there's an interview on YouTube somewhere when Abraham said, if Pavlik don't fight me, I'll move up. Okay. Arthur Abraham, I enjoyed his career, man. He fought everybody, man. He fought Froch, Ward, fucking Jermaine Taylor, Durrell, Stieglitz, Miranda. When Miranda was fucking coming up, he could really punch. Like, Abraham fought everybody. Absolutely everybody. I got a lot of time for Arthur Abraham. He's one of those random fighters I really like. I like Arthur Abraham, man. What's not to like with Arthur Abraham? That guy was crazy. Granite chin, tough, durable, great power. Awesome. Awesome fighter, man. I liked Abraham a lot. I liked Abraham. Tank has no Tank has no power at 140. We'll see, man. We'll see. I've got my doubts. Tank should move up and fight Taylor. I think listen, Nordic, man, he'll get smashed. I think he'll get smashed. That's what I'm saying, Nathan. Barrios is tough. He's tall. He can whack a bit. Yeah, exactly. Barrios has decent fundamentals. Like does the basics well. Good straight punches. Nice jab. So I like it, man. I like it. I'd take Lomachenko on points, Andre. I'd take Lomachenko on points. Tank's always going to be dangerous, but I think Loma would get in and out, pepper him with a jab, keep on turning Tank. I think he would avoid the uppercut. I think he would beat Tank on points. Maybe even a late stoppage. I'll be on stream when Barrios gets stopped. I'm not saying he doesn't get stopped. I just think it's a competitive fight. Okay, Zepeda versus Camper is now off. They deemed Camper too weak of an opponent. He was being lined up for Broner recently. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. But big up to corruption in boxing. Big up to corruption in boxing. Long time no see, bro. Hopefully you're keeping well. What killer is up next for Jamal? Even the almighty Lord Inhuman from equipped with Apollo's lightning, Divine Bolt is apparently ducking Jamal alongside Golovkin, Canelo, and David Benavidez, etc. Yeah, the whole Jamal Charlo thing to me is getting extremely tedious. To be honest, I've got no reason to believe this guy wants to fight anybody with a pulse. I mean, it's embarrassing when your little brother is putting you to shame. That's embarrassing. You're the big brother. You should be fucking leading by example. But Jamal, listen, to Jamal's credit, he's fighting guys. Jamal, not good enough. He's fighting a guy who got knocked out by Munguia in 2 rounds before Munguia was a champion. I mean, it's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Jamal Charlo's a big disappointment to me. He's got some ability. He's a decent fighter, but it's just not doing enough. Not doing enough. That's true as well, Andre. Yeah, the weight stipulations is what I'm worried about in that fight between Tank Davis and Barrios. Oh yeah, he definitely ducked Prograis, Barrios. Yeah, he would have definitely got knocked out in that fight. 100%. 100%. I agree, Hashman. I agree. I think Tim Tszyu's a better talent than Conor Ben and Eubank Jr. I like Tim Tszyu a lot. So, stylistically, he's very reminiscent of his dad. The distance control. I like how he takes that half step back when he walks you into that right hand. He's got a mean uppercut. He can put it on you. He can punch a bit. I like Tim Tszyu. I think he's a very good talent. A very good talent. Oh, listen, man. Chavez Jr. would have got killed against Abraham or Pavlik. Those guys would have killed Chavez. I think Abraham actually, on the topic of Abraham, I think he gets a little overlooked what he did in the sport. I think he had a good career after Abraham. He is a good body puncher. He is, yeah. He was destroying Hogan's body. Oh yeah, I remember, Jared. I remember Tank Davis calling out Josh Taylor on Twitter. Yeah, I remember. We know Tank doesn't want that work. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like, it would be much appreciated. That's always the main thing, man. Smashing the like. That's what YouTube likes anyway. They like that shit. So it's good for the algorithm, apparently. So yeah, smash the like. Be much appreciated. Yeah, I would even take Miranda over Chavez Jr. He would take him out early. Miranda could really punch, man. Like, Miranda had serious power. And he was a good fighter in his own right when he was coming up, Miranda. That's a good point, Duck. Yeah, that's a very good point. I've got no idea, to tell you the truth. The WBA ordered the Akhmedov rematch. How come Barrios can get away with fighting guys from other weight classes instead? It's a very good point. Pedraza or Julian Rodriguez? I think Pedraza wins. I think Pedraza is going to be too much for him. Not the biggest fan of Rodriguez quite yet. Not quite sold on him. It's a good test, though. It's a good test. Exactly, Nordic. Hit the like. Smash the like. Hashman doesn't rate Rodriguez. I'm not sold on him either, Hashman. I can see him getting outboxed by Pedraza. Pedraza's a good little boxer, to be fair to him. Pedraza's a good little boxer. I quite like Pedraza's style. Yeah, Elvis Rodriguez does look good. That's a big call. That is round 5 knockout for Josh Taylor. That's a big call. I don't know. I can't see it. I just can't see it. Do you know what? I was supposed to do so much fucking shit today, like errands and whatnot. I've done fuck all. I've done absolutely nothing. I wanted to start recording, do some more recording for the second channel, but I just not got around to it, man. You know what I'm like, man. At this point, it's going to be like there's going to be better chance of finding Madeleine McCann than seeing my second channel at this rate. But it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming. But I do like Elvis Rodriguez. Yeah. If Taylor stops him in 5, I'll do an official channel spotlight for you, Pigeon. I hope he does. I think that's going for distance. Yeah, that's what we was talking about, corruption. That's what we was talking about, because without that, I actually don't mind the fight. Because like I said earlier, I think Tank gets washed by any elite 140 pounder. Is he good enough to beat a fringe contender like Barrios at 140 though? I'm not entirely convinced. If it's on the level, I'm not entirely convinced. So if there's no weight class stipulation, I actually don't mind the fight. I quite like it actually, but that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about rehydration clauses, catch weights. That's what I'm worried about. It just seems like Tank's career right now is aimless. Like, what are they? I mean, what's after this? For example, where do they go after this? Yeah, I'm looking forward to finally uploading a first video, man. I am actually the recording has begun for the second channel for the first video. It has begun, so we'll get there. Yeah, hopefully, Jed Kyle. Yeah, hopefully, Joshua Fury gets made. Then we'll have 3 undisputed fights in 1 year. That'd be crazy. Who wins, Adelaide or Gorman, if they fought in 6 months? I might take Adelaide, to be honest. I thought Gorman was a disgrace in that Dubois fight, turning up in the shape he did. I know he had problems outside the ring, but that's no excuse, really, is it? It's no excuse. So I'll take David Adelaide in that fight. If I'm Josh Taylor, I'm fighting and defending undisputed titles in October, November in Scotland versus Catterall, then he should move up. Yeah. If Taylor wins, I would like to see him defend those crowns once, maybe in Scotland. That'd be a great shout. And yeah, then move up. And those fights would be good for Taylor's popularity in the UK. Because like you say, like Catterall or like Nordic said, Ritson, those would be good names for Taylor to fight if he becomes undisputed. Those would be big fights in the UK. Because Taylor's not really a big name in the UK, to be honest. Obviously, you've got Joshua and Fury and White. They're the biggest names. But even guys like Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, I would say these guys are bigger names than Josh Taylor in the UK, unfortunately. Maybe it's the Scottish thing. I'm not sure what it is, but Josh Taylor's really not known at all in the UK, outside boxing fans. I'd go as far as saying even most casuals don't know who he is. Gorman needs to get in shape. Looks like he's sponsored by McDonald's. Yeah, he does, man. He was 270 odd pounds in his last fight, and he's not a tall heavyweight. By the way, lads, UK guys, one good thing about tonight's boxing, the Andrade fight, it's actually on at UK time on DAZN. So we've not got to fucking wait up till silly o'clock to watch it. So that card is basically starting like a regular Sky card would, I believe. So yeah, main event is around sort of 10, 11 o'clock in the UK. That's great news, man. Anyway, lads, I've got to wrap this one up. I need to make my dinner. I'm going to make myself some chili con carne, bit of rice, melt some cheese over it. Boom, that's what I'll have for dinner. But yeah, I need to sort my dinner. I need to do a few errands, a few chores here and there. So I'm going to wrap this one up. If you could smash the like though on the way out, be much appreciated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll do another live stream soon. There's an off chance I do a live commentary on tonight's fight, Andrade and Williams, but I'm not promising anything. You know me and promises; they rarely get fulfilled. Sometimes I treat you guys like one of my female friends. So yeah, I won't promise anything. But yeah, peace, guys. Smash a like as well. Peace.